What's up, YouTube? It is your boy Crespo with D-Song. And I'm always dropping analysis on Sundays. So you know what I mean when I say it's about to go down. It's about to go down. Today I'm gonna be breaking down the markets. As you all can see, I've got gold, I've got GBPUSD, I've got NASDAQ, I've got US30. So those are the pairs that I want to analyze today and then see if I could get any opportunities for the week. So without any further ado, let's just get straight into it. So I'll start with gold. Y'all can know, you guys know that gold is my favorite pair, man. I love this pair so much. So I'm gonna just step into gold first, right? Last week, uh, I did anticipate buys on gold last week, and we did catch those buys, right? If you go back to my previous video, the video that I dropped last week, I was saying I was gonna be looking for buys on gold, and indeed, we did catch those buys, and it went in our favor. So I'll just delete here. I'll just delete everything here, right? So as you can see, gold here has been moving up, but has been in a uptrend. Oh, by the way, you guys, I had a couple of people hit me up on app. People hit me up on app. They said, bro, why didn't you at least explain to us how you analyze, because we always just see you put trend lines and what your Fibonacci's, we asking ourselves, what are you doing? So I've decided to actually record this for now, and then on the next video I'm gonna be explaining my strategy from what to do to the finish. You know what I mean? From the start to the finish. So this is what I'm gonna be doing on the next coming video. Probably I can shoot that right after I'm done here, and then I'll drop the video probably tomorrow or Wednesday, right? So let's just get straight to it, right? I'm seeing gold has been moving up right now. I'm seeing gold has been moving up, right? But it has been rejecting this area right here. It has been refusing to actually break those points right there, so indicating we could possibly get a clean movement. But without even going any further, I can see, right, the daily time frame is on a bull run, right? So if I scale down to other time frames first, let me just do this. If I scale down to the lower time frames, you'll see that this zone is more of like a strong zone. Every time the market gets there, it rejects, right? Every time the market gets to that zone, it rejects. So if I scale down to the 4 hour, you'd kind of see that, okay, this is more of like a rejection point where we might possibly get another rejection right there, right? If I can go back to the dates, we did have a rejection from those points on when was it? On Wednesday, April. We did have another one on Friday, May 25. We did have another one on, it was on a Sunday actually. On May, we did have another going on and so on. You kind of see that, okay, this is more of like a strong level where every time the market gets there, it reverses. So right now, what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna follow my strategy. My strategy says whenever there is a key zone and it has been respected a couple of times, then that's your zone where you're gonna be expecting your entries. That's your zone where you're gonna be monitoring your trades to catch them, right? So basically, this is what I'm seeing on gold, man. Gold, if I pull my trend line right there, right? I'll pull my trend line right there. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I'll just put it like that. You kind of see that every time we get to these points, we break. Every time we hit the trend line, we go up, right? We did have those points right there, so indicating we could possibly maybe next week retrace a little bit before we can continue going to the upside, right? These are my points. So to me, when I see this, I see that okay, my structure is heading to the upside, right? We're heading to the upside, and now that I'm seeing this, then I'm not gonna go against my strategy because I'm seeing this, right? So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna simply pull my trend right there. I'm gonna simply pull my trend line. As y'all can see, last week I did explain that okay, I did explain that I was gonna look for buyers on that counter trend line, right? You should go back to the previous video and watch it and see basically what I'm talking about. I did see that counter trend line last week, and I was like, I'm gonna be waiting for that counter trend line to be broken, and we did have that pull to the upside right there. But now here's the tricky part. Like I was saying, this is a key zone. This point that I marked right here is more of like a key zone. Whenever the market gets there, it reverses. So basically, right after the trend line was broken, I did take my take profit to the 90% rule of uh the counter trend line, which is right there, right? So now what we're gonna do is, since we know that this is our 90% rule, and again, another confluence is this is our key zone where we could possibly get another rejection. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna wait for the market to give me whatever it wants to uh whatever the market wants to do. I'm gonna wait for it, right? So this is what I'm anticipating on gold. I'm gonna be waiting for the market to give me a clear direction on where it wants to go. I mean, overall direction, we've been looking for buys on gold, but current ones right now is we don't know what could happen on Monday open, so we might actually just open with a weekend gap, break those levels right there, come back to retest, and then with uh continue with the trend going up. But if it does respect this zone, like I'm seeing, that like I was saying on the previous video, and right now is I'm seeing this zone is more of like a key zone where it could possibly reject a little bit, give us sells right there, and then we can start to buy right there when we get to those points. So the two scenarios that could possibly happen is the market could respect that zone and come back a little bit down here before we could continue heading to the upside. If not, then we can wait. We can wait for a clean rejection, a clean retracement back to these points, and then boom, we go up. Right. So this is what I'm gonna be waiting for on gold. I'm gonna be waiting for a confirmation uh on Monday open to see if we're gonna still continue with the structure heading to the upside, right? If it's like that, then this is what I'm gonna be looking for on gold, right? The only, like I was saying on the first video, I did explain on the first video that I dropped. I was like, patience is the key, man. Patience is the key to everything, right? If you wanna make it in trading, you always gotta be patient, man. Wait for the markets to give you uh the direction. Don't force the market to give you a direction. You wait for it to actually give you a clean direction, right? So if it does break those levels right there, I'm gonna be looking for clean buys all the way to those TPs right there. Meaning it will be a clean push to the upside, looking nice, looking nice and clean, crispy push. Man, I talk too much. I'm telling you, bro. I swear I just be talking some random shit. Anyways, let's just continue with our video, guys. Uh, Let me mark my other key zones right there. I'll mark my key zones right there, right? So this is where I'm gonna be waiting for the market to see if it respects that zone, like that zone right there that I said it was gonna respect. If it actually decides to open to the lower to the downside, right? So boom, this is what I'm gonna be expecting if this happens. If not, then we'll probably wait for the clean breakout and retest to the upside, right? So this is gold. This is what I'm seeing on gold this coming week. This is what I'm seeing on gold this coming week. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna go to GBPUSD. GBPUSD also one of those pairs that I like, man. I like this pair so much. Hold on. Let me just do this. GBPUSD, if we go on the bigger time frame, we see that GBPUSD has been going up, right? It has been in a upper trend ever since it gave us those lows right there in 2022 September. Ever since 2022 September, it has been heading up. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna mark my zones where I see every time the market got there, it rejected, right? This strategy, guys, I love this strategy, man. This strategy is so nice, man. Simple. I like to keep it simple. I don't like to complicate things. That's why most of the times you're gonna see me using this strategy. So let's just continue. I'll continue marking my key zones right there. Continue marking my key zones. We did have another one right there. We did have another one right there. Is it? Ish, what's happening with the internet now? I'll just continue. It'll do whatever it does. And we have those ones right there. Yeah. Yeah. So this is what I'm gonna do now. I've marked my key zones and I know that okay, now we head into the upside. If I go to the if I go to the 4 hour, I'm gonna do this, pull my trend right there, take my trend line, and then pull it from the lowest point to the highest point. So now we can see that we've been having a couple of touches on the trend line, meaning it's a stronger structure heading to the upside, right? We did have those touches right there. We did have those touches right there. We're probably gonna have the next one right here, right? So without even going deep into it, the market structure is showing me that we head into the upside. Remember, when you use trend lines, basically, let me just say, when I use trend lines, I use them to find market structure, not entries. The people who use it, the people who use trend lines for entries to find breakouts and retests, then enter. But for me personally, I'm not saying it's not a good thing to do. Everyone has their own way of doing things. So for me, I just use them to find market structure. Are we heading to the upside or are we heading to the downside? That's what I like to do when I use trend lines. So I'll mark my other key zones right there. Right, I see we have those key zones right there. We have those ones again, and then we have those ones right there again, right? So now what I can see is ever since the market bought on this day, when was it? Monday. It was Monday, 25 June. It gave us an impulse move to the upside, a crazy impulsive move, and then we did reject a little bit right there and continued to head to the upside. Now, when we got to those points of 1.37914, it looks the way I'm looking at it is it rejected at these points. Remember now, when I was on the bigger time frames, I was marking every time when the market gets, it rejects. And it showed me that this is our key zone now where the market rejected. And ever since it respected that zone, it has been pushing to the downside. So now what I'm going to do is I now know that, okay, I'm playing in between these zones. I'm going to do this. Let me just do this. Change the color. Let me just change the color, man. I'll change the color to this point. Yeah, I'll change the color to this point. Do something like this. Go to the settings. Go to the settings. Go to the settings. Yeah. Right now, I kind of see that. Okay, we're playing in between these zones. We're not going any further and lower between these zones. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna be observing how it actually plays out this coming week, right? So if it actually respects this zone, then I'm gonna be catching my buys, right? I'm gonna be waiting for it to come. If it means sweeping out liquidity, stopping out people, because there are people putting their stops right here, right now. There are people who have moved their stops into break even right now. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna wait for it to take out people and then come back into the zone and continue heading to the upside. This is what I'm gonna be doing, right? Another confluence is the trend line. If the trend is broken, then it's another confluence that, okay, now we head into the upside since we broke the trend. So this is what I'm going to be expecting on GBPUSD. I'll move to the 1 hour. I'll move to the 1 hour, right? I'll move to the 1 hour, right? I'm seeing that it's been respecting this channel heading to the downside, creating lower lows, lower highs. So what I'm gonna do is now wait. I'm gonna do the waiting game like I was saying. Wait for price to give me another confluence, and then we can catch our buys. If it means it breaking this point and heading to the downside, it's still fine. We'll look for those selling opportunities. But one thing I like about me is I stick to one thing, and I stick to my plan. When I say I'm only looking for buyers, I look for buyers. I don't like selling, guys, because selling sometimes can be a little bit tricky. I mean, that's just my own opinion that people who actually prefer selling than buying. But for me, I'm just more of like a buyer, because when I buy, the market moves into my favor. It respects my channels, it respects my key zones, my confluences. When it's selling, it's a bit hard to actually catch sales because you don't know which point is going to reverse. So this is what I'm gonna be looking for, man. I'm gonna be looking for this, and then we continue heading to the upside on GBPUSD. So right there, that'll be my 90% rule. That'll be another key zone right there. Once it breaks that, then we know we have something like this. Come back into the channel, break. Then when we break this point, we could probably get another retest and continue heading to the upside. So this is what I'm gonna be waiting for. I'm gonna be waiting for buys on GBPUSD. Let's move to NASDAQ. Lately, I've been falling in love with this pair, man, because it's one of those pairs that actually got my interest lately, right? I don't trade NASDAQ, but I've been kind of back testing it, getting to know how it moves, getting to see how it actually does its thing. Remember, all pairs move different. They're not similar. They're not the same. So they all move different. So NASDAQ right there, I'll create my points where every time the market gets, it reverses. This is a simple strategy, man. Simple strategy can never go wrong with, man. Simple strategy can never go wrong with. I'll just keep on marking those points right there. I'll keep marking those points right there. Keep marking those points right there. Now it's time to zoom in. Let's zoom in, because now we're getting to the current price. We wanna look for the current price, not the history. The history sometimes can mess up our minds. As y'all can see, Nasdaq has been creating new highs. It's actually at its all-time high right now. So what we don't know is Nasdaq is crazy. Like Nasdaq is it's a crazy pair. Very, 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 very volatile, and at the same time it does its own thing whenever it fucking wants. So I'm gonna do that right there. I'm gonna mark this point as my current key zone, where the market, ever since it got to those points right there, it actually respected, and you can see that it has been rejecting. It didn't even want to go further than that. It just kept on rejecting on these points, and I'm gonna mark these ones too, right? Ever since we broke those points right there, it has been moving up. So I'm gonna mark my current zones with with the trend line. I will use my trend line, wait for the trend line to get broken, and then we head to the upside. We'll see if it actually decides to go lower than this, something like this to happen, and then boom, we come back and we continue heading to the upside. If not, then we're gonna be waiting for it to break these points and continue going further down. So let me actually use this. Let me actually do something here. I'll pull my trend line. I'll pull my trend line right there. As you can see, that's a trend. That's a nice trend line that has been getting respected. I'll do this. Right. So this is what I'm seeing right now. I'm seeing a good clean channel heading to the upside. So that's what I'm gonna be waiting for. That's what I'm gonna be waiting for, man. That's what I'm gonna be waiting for on NASDAQ, for me to see if actually it drops to these zones. Remember, guys, when you use trend lines, hey, this is actually something tricky about trend lines. I wanted to explain this. Something tricky about trend lines. Trend lines sometimes can trick you if you don't use your key zones. This is why I like to mark my key zones, because trend lines, they don't actually just give me all the confirmations, right? Something like this can happen, right? Remember, us, we are taught that whenever a trend line is being broken, then look for a changing of character or a bias changement. If maybe you're looking for bias and then trend line breaks to the downside, then you have to change and look for sales, right? Now, what we don't know is something like this can happen. Let me just do this a little bit. Something like this can happen, right? We wait for the trend line to get broken, and then what we don't know is below here we have a key zone where it could possibly reject back and continue heading to the downside. Now, what we are taught is, Rona, we're gonna wait for a break and retest, then continue heading. Now, remember what happens now. When you'll be putting your stop loss here, you'll be putting your what do you call this? You'll be putting your selling opportunities right there. Let me just do this. Sorry. You'll be putting your selling opportunities like this just because trend line broke the market broke the trend line, and then boom, the market doesn't do that. It hits your stop loss. Now you get fucked. So now this is the same scenario that's actually happening here on NASDAQ. We're gonna be waiting for it to happen and wait for another confluence, right? If the trend line breaks this trend line, doesn't necessarily mean we're gonna continue heading and selling to the downside, right? Something like this, if it happens, right? Something like this, if it happens, right? Now, what we don't know is below here we also have another key zone, right? So this is where I'm gonna be monitoring the market. If the market breaks those zones, and then I know we're gonna be looking for selling opportunities all the way until those points, and then we can continue heading to the upside. Let's move to US30, man. I've been talking too much on Nasdaq. Let's just go to US30. US30 is a clean pair, also very nice clean pair. Nice to understand. Now, people who actually say US30 is a bit tricky because it's more of like it moves in ranges, in points where it sweeps out people, stops out people before it can go. This is why you see it that it's not like other pairs. It's so choppy when it comes to taking out people, right? So I'll mark my points right there. I'll mark my points right there where the market gets it reverses. Some of these points are just old points, but I'm just doing it because I want you guys to understand why I'm doing that. I won't be able to mark every key point, but I'm just gonna mark the ones I think that are necessary. So this is what I'm gonna be looking for. This is what I'm gonna be looking for. Marking my key points right there. Marking my key points right there. Another key point, right? And yeah, we had another one right there. If I zoom in, man, I know some people will say, "Hey, bro, your chart is it's so messy." But what I like about it is at least it shows me where the market is going, man. Man, I know I talk too much. I like to talk too much, but what can I do, man? Uh, I hope you guys bear with me. All right. So now yesterday we saw that okay, ever since it got to those points of 44,971, it respected for the first time on December 2024, between December 2024 Monday to Wednesdays. It actually respected those zones, came back to the same zone again in 2025 June, January, right, month end. When people were crying for salaries, now your state is reversing to the downside, right, and then we had another push again, respected here. It didn't actually touch the zone, but it kind of, as you can see, that it kind of more of like consolidated into the range. So this is what I'm actually gonna look for on yesterday also, right? I'll just do that. I'll just do that right there. I'll just do that, right? So we can see that it hasn't touched the zone yet, but we're at the zone, meaning it's a critical point where we don't want to be just saying we're gonna be looking for buys because we're seeing the trend is heading to the upside. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna place my trend line right there. I'm gonna place my trend line right there and another one right there, something like that. And then we move to the 4 hour time frame. 4 hour time frame is looking nice, man, looking nice. Right now we can see our most current key zone is this point right there, meaning if we do respect that point, we might actually continue heading to the upside. If not, we might come back a little bit uh to the top side to these points before we could come back a little bit down here and then continue looking for buys. But anyways, let me just keep on analyzing to see what actually is happening here, right? I'll mark this point as the current key zone, where now I can say I'm monitoring it. If it breaks higher than that, then we're gonna be looking for buys. If it breaks lower than that, then we'll be just looking for short-term buys, because this point right here is it's a critical point. Also, it's a very strong level holding the market. So if it breaks it, then we might actually just drop a little bit, come to those points, and then we continue heading to the outside. To the upside. So this is what I'm seeing on yesterday, man. Yesterday is such a beautiful pair. I love it so much, man. Yo, this pair is, but hey, you don't know this pair, man. It has sent a lot of people back home. It has sent people to their villages, just like gold, man. It's so volatile, very volatile pair. So it needs you to actually analyze it with the open mind, not just looking for one bias and then you get fucked. So for me on yesterday, I'm gonna be waiting for those points. If those points get broken, then I'm gonna be looking for the selling opportunities heading to the downside until we get there, and then maybe you can buy when you get there. So for me, this is what I'm gonna be looking for on yesterday. I can see also again that ever since we had, I think, when was this? July. We did have our impulse move, went up, came back, tried to break, it failed, respected the zone, meaning this could be our strongest level where we could expect buys on ES30. So I'm gonna be waiting for something like that on ES30, right? My stop loss just at those points, because this pair is just too crazy, man. It chows you like crazy. And then my take profit, nothing too crazy right there. And then you hold all the way to those highs right there. But here's one thing about yesterday people don't understand. When it comes to trading boy yesterday like this, very rare to find people holding yesterday overnight, because the charges on the broker is just too insane, man, because it's a volatile pair. So when you find yourself holding yesterday, you're gonna find yourself, when you want to withdraw your money now, you're gonna withdraw less money because the charges of holding it overnight. So this is why you find a lot of people when they enter US30 is just to catch quick scalps and then continue uh, withdrawing that money right there. So this is what I'm gonna be waiting for in US30. Hey man, I'm sorry for talking too much, but I kind of see this zone also, meaning it's a possible zone where the market is actually holding, right? I see it has been rejecting. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna wait for another confirmation. If it press, because this is a consolidation, I'm seeing another consolidation right here. See another consolidation right there. If price breaks higher, if price breaks those points, those highs, then we're gonna be looking for buys right there and catch them right there at those points. And then maybe my stop loss would be something like this. I'm just giving scenarios what could possibly happen, right? I don't want to predict the market. I want to move in probabilities. So this is what it could happen, and then the other probability is it could break lower and come back to these zones before it could head to the upside. So this is what I was looking for. I'm gonna be looking for buyers on US30. So man, this is what I wanted to actually explain on this video. Thank you for watching. It is your boy Crespa Mudisang. Remember guys, on the next video I'm gonna be showing you guys how actually I managed to find my key zones, how I managed to analyze my markets and catch my entries. So make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe. Catch you in the next video.